Hey, Mr. Wiedemer here from Mr. Wiedemer's History. Welcome to 10.6, the War in the Pacific. You guys will be able to analyze the events and battles of the Pacific Theater during World War II. Alright, here we go. Hey, so first off, we'll start off with the map of the Pacific Theater. Alright, the United States is going to go from island to island. You see all these major battles on all these islands in the Pacific. The United States is going to work their way to the island of Japan. That's their goal, is to go to Japan and invade Japan. Alright? And so they're going to work their way from island to island, taking strategic islands along the way. Strategic shipping channels, islands where Japan may be building up an air base. And so we're going to go from place to place. It's called island hopping. We're going to hop from island to island. Sometimes we're going to hop over an island. And Japan thought we were going to take them all, but we did not. It was kind of led to our advantage a little bit. And so here's a little map of the war in the Pacific. Alright, first up, we got the Battle of Bataan, where Bataan, we just got slaughtered. It was crazy. And then the Japanese took approximately 50,000 American and Filipinos to a prison camp. And this prison camp was a 6-day walk through the jungle. You know, hot, humid, malaria-ridden jungle. Okay, little to no provisions, no food. So they're walking 6 days. Alright. Approximately 7,000 soldiers, American and Filipino soldiers, died on this Bataan Death March, hence the name Death March. And then approximately 400 died each day while at the camp. It was just absolutely crazy. One of the most horrific things to happen to America in the Pacific. The Bataan Death March. Alright, next the famous Battle of Coral Sea, which took place in May 1942. Okay, fought completely in the air despite the name Coral Sea. Alright, completely in the air by naval-based planes. Okay, it was the first ever naval battle in history that no ships actually fired weapons. It was fought entirely in the air. Very interesting. And it was Japan versus the United States. We broke Japan's code very early on. Alright, and we used that to our advantage, the Coral Sea and onward. Alright, and stopped Japan's plans from invading Australia. Okay, if they got Coral Sea, they're going to go in Australia next, New Guinea, Australia. And with our victory at Coral Sea, we stopped Japan from invading Australia. Right? So we're talking about how we beat Japan's code. Now, what about the United States code? Well, the United States had a code that no one ever cracked. Okay, this is the Navajo Code, Navajo language, which was a language very few people spoke. It's a dead language. Very few people spoke. Just if you were Navajo, you could speak it. If you weren't, you did not. And so, luckily, the United States had Navajo and Navajo tribe in the United States, so they used their language as our code, and Japan never broke it because it's that impressive. Alright, so these Navajo code talkers, they served as Marines, translated messages into code versions of Navajo language. Like I said, it's so complex, Japan never figured it out. It helped the Allies win the war in the Pacific. Alright, here's a little preview of a code. This is Japan surrenders in Navajo. You see, what? It's crazy. No wonder Japan never figured it out. I mean, it's absolutely, who could figure this code out? No one could, and hence that's what helped us win the war in the Pacific. One major reason was the Navajo language, the Navajo code talkers. Alright, next major Battle of Midway Island, June 1942. Very important refueling base for the U.S., so you definitely needed this island. Okay, it's air battle, planes attacked aircraft carriers. Complete success for the United States. Battle of Midway, complete success. We only had one ship damaged during the Battle of Midway. And 4 of 5 Japanese aircraft carriers were sunk in this battle. It was the first major defeat of the Japanese Navy in World War II. Okay, the first major defeat of the Japanese Navy in World War II. Hence, why this was the turning point of the war in the Pacific. Alright, things are going, the U.S. would win some and kind of go back and forth. But after Midway, things are going into our favor. It's the turning point of the war in the Pacific, the Battle of Midway. Alright, next August August 7th, 1942, Battle of Guadalcanal. Okay, first major Allied offensive. Okay, we're not going on the defensive anymore. We're not being attacked. We're going on the offensive. Okay, in the Battle of Guadalcanal, the U.S. Navy won decisively at Guadalcanal. Decisive victory. And so the U.S. just continuing to march on towards Japan. We're going to hop in from island, getting closer and closer to Japan. All right, next major battle, Battle of Leyte Gulf. All right, it was from mid-1944 to March 1945. It was the greatest naval engagement of the war, the largest naval battle ever fought. Okay, ever fought. And his first major use of Japanese kamikaze suicide pilots, where these pilots would fly the plane right into the aircraft carrier ships. And the U.S., though, luckily won this battle. And in March 1945, Japan surrendered the Philippines to the U.S. So like I said, the U.S. just keep making gains. Alright? Well, mainly because why we were in Pearl Harbor, where Japan wanted to take care of our aircraft carriers. This is the reason why. Alright? If we didn't have our aircraft carriers, this would be a whole different ball game. Japan would probably be whooping up on the United States here. But with our aircraft carriers, we can defeat Japan here. Alright, we're getting closer and closer with each victory, with each island that we're hopping to. We're getting closer and closer to the invasion of Japan. Alright, as I said, a reference island hopping. Alright, we couldn't take every island. Japan thought we were going to, which kind of put it in our favor. As you see, we'd go start at Pearl Harbor, that's our military base. Alright, and then we'd go here, to there. And everywhere we went was a major battle. We just hop from island to island to island to island. Alright? And defeating the Japanese. And here's Battle Midway. Is fueling station. Alright? Between Japan and Pearl Harbor. So we needed Midway. Alright? In every battle we got closer and closer. And it was just, island hopping. That was our strategy we used in the Pacific World War II. Alright, here's a little bit about the kamikaze pilots here. Japanese suicide pilots flew planes to ships. They also had children strapped to dynamite sent to play around American soldiers. And so the American soldiers were, in there just lounging around. And all of a sudden here comes a Japanese kid. And, oh, yeah, let's play kids. Let's play, soccer with them or whatnot. And all of a sudden, boom. Alright, it'd blow up. Okay, they strapped in their suicide pilots. The people of Japan believed that it was honorable to die in war. That a war death was honorable. So if you committed suicide, you died an honorable death. In Japanese culture, Japanese society is all about honor. Okay, if you surrendered, you were a disgrace to your family. Alright? If you were taken prisoner, you were a disgrace to your family. And so it was an honor to die in battle. Whether it was by a plane going to a ship, or on the battlefield, or blowing up with dynamite. That was an honor. And so, it's one reason why it took so long, and one reason why we're going to have to drop this atomic bomb, because Japan's not going to surrender. It's dishonorable. If they surrendered, it's total shame to them for all future generations and ancestors. They just can't do it. Alright? But eventually Japan's going to run out of planes because they blew them all up with the kamikaze pilots. Like I said, one of the downsides to having kamikaze pilots. Alright? One of those famous battles, next one, Iwo Jima, March 1945. The island was close enough to bomb Japan. So we got Iwo Jima, we can send our medium-range bombers and bomb Japan. So this is very strategic. Okay, 20,000 American lives were lost during this battle. Crazy. Alright, Japanese hid in caves and in the brush, and just came out and fired and killed many Americans. In the U.S., how'd they combat that? They used flamethrowers and, just throw fire into caves and brushes, smoke them out. And it was very effective because the United States won. And how did they signify victory? They climbed up the top of Mount Suribachi and planted the U.S. flag. This is one of the most famous pictures ever taken. Yes, it is a staged picture. Okay, the first flag they put up, that's not a big enough flag. We need a different flag. Alright? And so they get up there and tell us how you did it. Show us how you put the flag up. So they Did that. A photographer took his picture, and voila, the rest is history. Now we have a monument in Washington, D.C. signifying this picture, the Battle of Iwo Jima, and the victory in Iwo Jima. So very, very famous. And next is Battle of Okinawa, April 1945. 50,000 Allied lives lost. Most of any battle in the Pacific. 50,000. Alright? And this is a test battle to see what invading Japan would be like. And it showed that Japan would be crazy. Very difficult because the Japanese were not going to give up. Alright? Remember, it is dishonor to their society for them to give up. And so, this is crazy. So not only was U.S. soldiers had to face the Japanese, they also had to face the conditions. The conditions of this in the Pacific were bad. Rainy, it was humid and hot. It just was not good conditions to fight a battle. And so it was very difficult. Many American soldiers died of diseases such as malaria because of the conditions of the war in the Pacific. Alright? But we took Okinawa, and this would be the launching pad for the final invasion of Japan. Okay, remember, our first goal was to invade Japan and make Japan surrender. Alright, not to drop the atomic bomb. That came later when we found out that Japan's just not going to give up. We have to do something. Alright, so Battle of Okinawa. Alright, so we're going to have a Potsdam conference. Alright, and at that conference we're going to make a declaration. On July 26, 1945, we tell Japan to surrender unconditionally or face prompt and utter destruction. How do you think Japan did this? Japan's like, that ain't gonna happen. Alright, but we say you must surrender or face prompt and utter destruction. Alright, so the reason U.S. won in the Pacific, the Japanese never saw island hopping coming. They just thought they would try to take every island, which we didn't. Alright, U.S. could stay at sea because supplies could be brought in, submarines sink shipping boats, and the use of the atomic bomb. And now the atomic bomb. The German atomic bomb. Truman is probably one of the most controversial topics in all of history. The dropping of the atomic bomb. To drop the atomic bomb, then not to drop the atomic bomb. Can we win the war without dropping the bomb? Or is it a necessary evil to drop the bomb to win the war? It's a debate that still goes on today. Alright, so Truman, he ultimately decides to drop the atomic bomb to save American lives. Alright, he figured the invasion of Japan would result in excessive casualties, loss of lives that we couldn't afford. Senseless deaths. And so if we drop the atomic bomb, we can get Japan to surrender, and we can save American lives. That's the big part about dropping. Why did Truman drop the bomb? To save American lives. Alright, the first bomb, Little Boy, dropped by the Enola Gay on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. The second bomb, Fat Man, dropped by Boxcar, which is a very little known plane. Most people know the Enola Gay, but not too many people know the second plane, the Boxcar, that dropped the Fat Man on Nagasaki on August 9th, 1945. Alright, and these were not heavily populated areas. These are strategic points, alright, military, industrialized cities. And so they're strategic. We wanted to drop the bomb with little amount of innocent casualties as possible. We even warned them ahead of time, dropped leaflets that say, tell your leaders to surrender or we're going to drop this atomic bomb. Alright? And, a lot of people said, well, wait, how about you test atomic bomb on an island, show them the power, and they will be scared. They did test it, but, it's not effective. It wasn't effective until you actually use it on the people. And that is what they did. And Japan did surrender on August 14th, 1945, and VJ Day, Victory in Japan, Day, August 15th, 1945. Alright, there's some pictures of the atomic bomb, the Enola Gay, the bomb, the destruction, what happened to the people. It's just crazy aftermath. Alright, let's review. The War in the Pacific took place between 1942 and 1945. U.S. used Navajo Code that was never broken. Used a strategy called island hopping to go from island to island on the way to Japan. Alright, Japanese used kamikaze pilots, suicide pilots. Alright, Midway was turning point in the Pacific. U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs, one on Hiroshima and the other on Nagasaki. Truman made the decision to save American lives. and Japan eventually surrendered on August 14, 1945. That's it. Study history.